Howdy Tallahassee, I'm student meteorologist Nikki Kanakis here to bring you your Wednesday edition of FSU weather. Currently over Doak Campbell Stadium, we're seeing the beginning of a beautiful sunset. You can see the sun peeking out through those clouds and it is 69 degrees outside. It is a little bit cloudy, but we also have a little bit of a wind as well. So make sure maybe you have a windbreaker, break that out if you have one. As I said, 69 degrees here. We have 65 up in Donaldsonville and a little bit of another warm spot in Valdosta. And as we get over to the coast, 68 in Apalachicola and 72 in Perry. Our radar is looking pretty clear right now, just a little bit of backscatter, but that does not mean anything in our ways of precipitation. But tonight, we're having some colder mornings in April because of that rain that just went through yesterday. But will that be staying? We'll talk about that, some severe weather, and we'll talk about the difference between El Nino and La Nina. All that and more tonight on FSU Weather.
Howdy Tallahassee, this is student meteorologist Joy Alone with your Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I hope we enjoyed the lack of rain today. Yesterday was pretty stormy in my opinion, but I was not expecting such cool temperatures waking up this morning. And we're going to see a consistency with our weather here in Tallahassee, but we will be seeing a large chance of rain on Saturday that could bring some floods, so we better watch out for that. But overall, we're just experiencing some spring-like temperatures here in Tallahassee, but we will start to see some severe weather in the south of America. And so we need to be sure that we have our severe weather guides prepared and all of that. And so now we're going to head it off to Nikki talking more about Tallahassee.
Thank you so much, Joy. Right now, we are seeing some beautiful looks over Doak Campbell Stadium like we saw right before in our overview. Still 69 degrees here. I know it's been quite a bit of time, but we are looking at the same things. Our radar is also looking pretty clear, just that backscatter that I mentioned earlier today in the overview. Right now, 69 degrees here. As we head over to the coast, it's a little bit warmer right now, 72 degrees in Perry, and as we head up north, it is looking just a little bit cooler, but not too different from Tallahassee, 66 degrees in Quincy and 65 degrees in Donaldsonville. Our temperature almanac, as you can see, we are not too far off of our average for today, only by a few degrees, less than 5 for both. Nothing too close to our record, but pretty average, so not too bad for us today. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. I had a great time walking to and from my car in the parking lot. 46 is our dew point here. We had that rain come through yesterday, so it's been pretty dry today in comparison to our usual muggy selves here in Tallahassee, which has been a little bit of a treat. I've really been enjoying it. I worked outside today and it was nice to not feel like I was swimming through the air. For the next few days, we are not really seeing much precipitation. We just have those winds going through, heading towards the west instead of the east. And tonight is going to be 50 degrees here. Pretty cloudy, so not the best night if you want to look at the stars, but a great night if you want to go to College Town, maybe go have lunch or dinner at Madison Social tonight, and just a little bit of a breeze, so you can honestly probably put your windbreaker away. It won't be that windy. And for tonight, it is going to be pretty chilly in most of the Big Bend region, 49 degrees up in Thomasville and Bainbridge, but as we head towards the coast, it is getting a little bit warmer, 56 in St. Mark's, 59 in Carabel, and 56 in Apalachicola. Tomorrow, it is going to be kind of a scorcher. I'm not ready for these summer temperatures to be coming back, but it's going to be 80 degrees and sunny. So if you're looking to go for a tan by your pool in between your classes, or maybe hang out on Landis with your dog, it should be a beautiful day to do that if you're a fan of that warmer weather. Tomorrow around the area, we should be seeing the same temperatures. We're a little bit of a hot spot here in Tallahassee, but and it's Perry as well, but we should be seeing 70s all around. We have a little bit of a cooler spot, if you even would like to say that, in Apalachicola at 74 and Thomasville 75. So great day to go out, hang out with your friends, really enjoy that summer feelings, you know. Get excited for that summer break that's coming up soon. But for the week ahead, not too bad, but Saturday we might be seeing a bit of rain, but other than that, it should be pretty warm outside. But what's the rest of Florida looking like, Joy?
Thanks, Nikki. Let's chat about the rest of Florida because we got a feel for what Tallahassee is bringing us. But all of that weather that we experienced yesterday and Monday has actually made its way down to the south of Florida. In Miami right now, it is 78 and pretty cloudy because you will see later on that there are a lot of storms in that region. But overall, because that front has passed over the north of Florida already, the dew points are pretty low. But if we take a look at the rest of Florida, we can see that they are pretty muggy. 70 in Miami is what we would expect for this time of year, especially considering all of the storms that are passing through that region right now. And you can see those storms right there down in Miami, even headed towards the Fort Myers area. You can see like how bad they could get, and they're moving pretty slowly in my opinion. So if you are in Miami and you're going out, make sure you have an umbrella and make sure that you're able to stay safe from the rain because these storms could bring some dangerous lightning. But for the rest of Florida, there's not really much going on in terms of weather. There's some pop-up showers here and there, but nothing that should be too concerning. And if we zoom in a little bit more on the Big Bend region, we can see those pop-up showers pop up just near the coast over there, but nothing to be concerned about. But we do see some clouds just roaming in as the front is headed away from Florida. And we can see those clouds here. Not really a beautiful sunset in downtown Tallahassee. With a temperature of 69, it is not my favorite type of weather and not what I would expect for spring here. But 10 miles per hour, it's pretty cool. So make sure you have a light jacket if you are going outside. And if you are driving down I-75 or even I-95, there are no storms that should concern you here. There's just some clouds, so you'll have a very smooth drive and no rain to worry about here. And you can even see some of those clouds starting to dissipate a little bit as the front is leaving this area. 75 degrees in Marion County. I think it's okay weather. But down in Miami, we could see again those storms that I was mentioning, and it's pretty dangerous over there. So if you are driving, make sure that you are staying safe. And you can see that the weather in Sunny Isles Beach is not very nice. Showers and even a breeze, so that rain will really hit your windshield as you're driving. And that rainfall forecast will continue to increase throughout the rest of the day as those storms make its way down south with that front. And tonight in Florida, we could see that 73 degrees in Miami is again what we'd expect, but Tallahassee 57 and even 57 in Jacksonville because those cool temperatures are what we would expect after a front. So make sure to bring your jacket, and 65 in Tampa is pretty nice for the springtime. But tomorrow we're seeing some pretty hot temperatures. 89 in Fort Myers is pretty hot in my opinion. Make sure you're wearing sunscreen if you are living in Central and North Florida as well, because 82 in sunny in Orlando and even 80 in Tallahassee is pretty warm in my opinion. And so now we're going to let Nikki talk a little bit more about our severe weather.
Thank you so much, Joy. We have quite a bit of severe weather in the Mississippi Valley. We're going to be having a marginal risk for tomorrow and an enhanced risk on Friday. Most of our concerns are in Friday as we have that enhanced risk, and it has the potential for significant gusts and tornadoes in those areas that will be affected. But the SPC has an outline area to watch in the Mississippi Valley next Tuesday. So let's get into this a little bit. Our SPC Day 2 connective outlook, it's looking not awful, but we can see all of Arkansas, almost Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and Oklahoma City is having a bit of a marginal risk, but the rest of those areas seem to have a little bit less. But you should always be careful, always be looking at your weather to look at updates, because these kinds of things can be very predictable. Severe weather is always pretty unpredictable, as most of us know here in Florida with our hurricanes and whatnot. Our hail outlook is also looking a little bit interesting. Oklahoma is really getting most of this. 5%, so basically any point within 25 miles of any of the brown, it has a 5% risk of significant damage from hail in the next few days from this severe weather. And the same for the wind. All the areas covered, mostly Oklahoma and some of Kansas, is going to be having a 5% risk of damaging winds in their area. So you should always make sure that you are ready for that kind of weather. Maybe board up your house if you're able to. Make sure to get the least amount of damage to your house, because I would hate to see my house damaged in a storm like this. On this graphic, we have a instability, which is the energy that it takes that is available for a storm to use and can cause some severe damage. So we have quite a bit of energy here, but as you can see, those fronts are moving through and really adding some power to the storm. So make sure that you're always staying safe, staying updated, because I would not want to be uninformed when something that looks as scary as this is coming my way. For our 3-day convective outlook, it is looking like we're going to be seeing that enhanced risk in the St. Louis area, maybe a little bit by Kansas City and Memphis, Tennessee. So if you're in that area, definitely make sure to stay updated. And as we go out, the risk lessens and lessens, but as I said before, it can be unpredictable. So make sure you're always staying up to date. This is quite a few days out, so make sure you're always checking in on that. And our probabilistic outlook is looking very similar in the areas, with more of a higher risk in the center and less as you go out. Our severe risks are looking interesting as well for these areas, and what I mentioned before, a little bit above a moderate risk for tornadoes, hail, high winds, and flooding is a little bit less, but you should always make sure that you know what you could be in for. But our future radar, as you can see, is looking interesting, and now we are going to be seeing some of the southeast with Joy.
Thanks, Nikki. Severe weather is really important, so you need to make sure that you are prepared if it comes in your region. However, in the southeast right now, it doesn't seem like we're experiencing any severe weather. Beaufort, South Carolina is looking awfully nice in my opinion, but even Atlanta, Georgia, with barely any clouds in sight, I think it's beautiful there. And even in New Orleans, Louisiana, such beautiful clouds. In Tampa, Florida, with those cumulus clouds, pretty nice overall in the southeast. And we can even see that with our temperatures that are pretty spring-like. We have 68 in Montgomery, even 61 in New Orleans, which is pretty chilly right now. But of course, our outliers are Central and South Florida with 82 in Tampa and 78 in Miami. And as I was talking about that front earlier, it has already passed this southeast region. So our dew points are a lot lower compared to Central and South Florida. With 70 degrees in Miami, it is pretty muggy down there as those storms are still drenching rain on the area. With our temperature anomalies, we are seeing -5 in Atlanta, -5 in Memphis. That is because after the cold front passes, our temperatures decrease in those regions. But if we take a look at South Florida, +5 for Miami is something that we would expect for that region as well. And we can see a little bit of storms in the Louisiana area, but that has nothing to do with our front that is impacting South Florida right now. But if you are in this area, New Orleans region, as these storms pass, just make sure that you're watching them and make sure that you are staying safe with any rain and maybe even potentially hail coming from that area. And that front that I was mentioning earlier, you can see it head towards the Keys down in Miami. So again, in Miami, make sure that you are up to date with your weather. But as Nikki spoke about with our severe weather, we can start to see a front develop, and it's even passing through our southeast region in Friday. So Memphis, Tennessee, and even in Arkansas, you could see like that straight line. It's really easy to spot the cold front here. So make sure that you have your severe weather guides prepared and be sure to be on the lookout for that. And as our rain and cold front pass through South Florida, it will bring a lot of rain. As you can see, it will continue to increase throughout tonight. And tonight with our temperatures, we will see some pretty cool temperatures in the northern southeast region, such as 37 in Nashville, Tennessee. And with our cold front leaving North Florida already, 50 degrees in Tallahassee as our temperatures decrease, but 69 in Miami with showers is what we would expect due to all the storms in the region. But tomorrow, it will rain a little bit more in Miami as those storms are starting to leave. But overall, it should be a pretty average day for Miami. But in the rest of our southeast region, it will be pretty warm, 80 in Jackson and 71 in Nashville. And even in Tampa, 86 degrees is pretty warm, and it's pretty summer-like temperatures, something that you wouldn't expect right now in spring. And now we're going to pass things off to Nikki at the desk.
Thank you so much, Joy. We're going to be talking about El Nino and El Nina. So, you know, what is the difference between the two? I know I've always had those confused in my head, especially learning about it in school. We've heard them, but what do they actually mean? The El Nino Southern Oscillation, also known as ENSO, is a climate pattern in the Pacific Ocean, and it has major climate implications for the hurricane season and our seasons, which we are approaching very quickly, so we should always be informed on what the El Nino is. It basically happens when winds blow towards the east over the equatorial Pacific. It pushes warm water towards coastal South America, leaving a cool upwelling of water off the coast of Asia. And it increases the trade winds over the Atlantic, which reduces hurricane activity. But La Nina is basically the opposite of that. The winds blow towards the west over the equatorial Pacific, pushing the warm water towards coastal Asia and Oceania, leaving cool upwelling off the coast of South America. This decreases the trade winds over the Atlantic, allowing for more hurricane activity. And currently they're neutral, moving towards El Nino, because where we are placed right now, we're a little bit tilted towards El Nino. So we are seeing the differences there. I know it's hard when they have very similar names, and you kind of have to remember one is one and one is basically the opposite of the other, but it does show that the chances of hurricanes can be enhanced or reduced based on the direction that El Nino is going through. You can see on this graphic right here, it's the La Nina winter effects in the U.S. So in the winter, El Nino is more likely to be in effect. It has that colder air up top, and we can see that warm water coming in. Fewer hurricanes can happen, and you know, it's a difficult topic to talk about because they're so similar in name, and it's always been kind of difficult for me personally. And we're going to pass things over to Joy for a look at our national.
Thanks, Nikki, so much. Sorry for laughing. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, back to a really more serious topic here. We're going to be talking about our national. Nikki was really good at educating us on the difference between El Nino and El Nina. But we can see here in our national, let's just take a little look at the temperatures here. 21 degrees in Bismarck is pretty frigid in my opinion, and we can see 29 in Minneapolis. And you'll see why those temperatures have decreased a lot. It is because of a cold front that is currently hitting this northeast region. And if we look even more down south here, 66 in Dallas, Texas, it's pretty chilly, and 69 in Albuquerque, not too bad in my opinion. And dew points, it is pretty dry across the entirety of America, minus Miami at 70 degrees. So if you are anywhere but Miami and Central Florida, I would recommend wearing chapstick because the dry weather can really impact your lips, and make sure that you drink a lot of water as well. We can see those temperatures in this north region here, North Dakota, South Dakota, they are way below normal because of a cold front that has passed through the area. So our temperatures are expected to decrease as normal. And here down in South Florida and even into North Florida, the temperatures are to be expected a lot higher than normal. I feel like we are so used to seeing that here in Florida, so nothing to be worried about. And even over here in this region, the temperatures are expected to be below normal, and that is because of yet another cold front that will be passing through the region. And we're going to take a look at our cold fronts here as well. There is one currently there's a low pressure system, over California, bringing a lot of rain that is going to end a lot of drought in that region. And that cold front down in South Florida that I was talking about for many minutes before, it's bringing a lot of rain to South Florida as well. And then this cold front that I just mentioned that dropped our temperatures in Minneapolis, bringing a high pressure system to that region. So we have a lot of cold fronts on our board today, but it's really important to mention our drought monitor today because we are experiencing a really heavy drought here in Oklahoma. But if we take a look at California, which is really important, they've been receiving a lot of rain recently. So there are parts of California that are not in a drought anymore, but they were in a very severe drought before. However, as the weeks go on, more and more parts of California will be out of a drought, and they could experience some really heavy and severe flooding. And here's that front that I mentioned earlier over here in Toronto area. Wrong way, I'm so sorry. Over here, we could see that front pushing through Canada and even Ohio, bringing beautiful, beautiful temperatures and weather here in Minneapolis and North Dakota. And we can even see that here in Ohio, as that front is pushing through Ohio and starting to leave, you can see the clouds, but the sun is even starting to peek out with a few showers, but over the next couple of days, it will look beautiful there. And we're gonna take a little closer up look at that front that I was mentioning earlier, passing through Ohio, New York, and it's gonna make its way towards Vermont and New Hampshire, and even into Pennsylvania over the next couple of days. And in Boston right now is absolutely gorgeous with 45 degrees and not really many clouds in sight, but we should expect some weather in that region. And there's that cold front I mentioned over South Florida as well. And in Miramar Beach, we could see some clouds and 68 degrees. It's pretty okay there. And as I mentioned with California, there's that system that is swirling, many apologies, swirling over there that is bringing a lot of rain and ending droughts and lots of severe floods. So if you are in California, make sure that you are aware of any local flood plans that you have and be safe about that. And we are expected to be very warm down in the south and then pretty likely below, over in this region as well. And with our rainfall forecast, it will keep increasing in California as that storm is swirling in that region, and even down in Miami with that front, and even in this northwest region and northeast region as well. And overnight, we will experience a lot of dropped temperatures, 25 in Billings and 73 in Miami. And now we're going to pass things off to Nikki to talk a little bit more about our lifestyle.
Thank you so much, Joy. What a great national. We have a lot of weather going on around the country, but looking more locally again, right now it's just pretty cloudy all around Panama City. Usually we see a gorgeous sunset, and you can kind of see those pinks, but it's mostly covered up by clouds, as well as the sportsplex. If you're playing any IM sports tonight, like softball or soccer, it's going to be pretty cloudy, which could be good or bad depending on how you like to play your sports outside. And the same can be said for the Res and St. George Island. So just cloudy all around. Another look at Doak. It is the sun's starting to set, and it's looking very beautiful, even though it's kind of getting covered up by the clouds like most places right now. You can still see those pretty colors peeking out. It's 69 here currently with a 10-mile-an-hour wind, so not too bad. Maybe bust out your windbreaker, as I said earlier in the show. If you're traveling out of Tallahassee, there should be no delays. It's clear for the planes to fly, and it should be pretty clear around the rest of the country as well. While some places are cold, that doesn't really affect the flying pattern, since it's not freezing and there's no ice, so there can't really be anything to delay other than human error at that point. And if you're walking your dog or your cat per se, it should be a beautiful morning for that tomorrow. 51 degrees at 7 a.m. if you're an early bird. I am not like that, but if that is your jam, I respect it. But as the early morning hours go on, it gets a little bit warmer pretty fast. You can see that 51 to 67 jump just in a few hours. So, you know, you get a little bit of a range of things when you're walking your dog. You can pick what time you want. Our pollen report, the pollen I think is pretty bad here, but our grass is has a high pollen, and our weeds and trees are pretty low right now. But if you walk outside, you can still feel those effects in your nose and your eyes. Not my favorite feeling, but that's just how it is here. Right now we have poor conditions for stargazing tonight, so if you want to go out, you've been seeing all our cameras. It is pretty cloudy outside, so you will not be able to see too many stars if that's what you're looking to do tonight. I'd try to choose a different day where it's clearer out. For our sports, we're going to be seeing quite a few. Softball is playing Virginia Tech on the 31st. It is going to be a beautiful, gorgeous day out. Make sure that you're putting on your sunscreen, even though it says it might be a little bit cloudy. It's going to be warm, but even through the clouds, you can get that UV and you can get sunburn. So make sure that you're always staying protected from those harmful rays. 78 degrees in Miami for FSU baseball as well. So it should just be an absolutely gorgeous time to go out. Our beach camp, it's also looking like a great day to go out, 72 degrees. I would love to see that. Our morning beach forecast, a little bit chilly in the morning, but it should be warming up throughout the day and for the rest of the weekend. You can see pretty warm, but there might be a chance of rain on Saturday. But now I'm going to let Joy give us a last look at our local.
Thanks, Nikki, and howdy from Doak Campbell Stadium, where we're starting to see our gradient peak out through the clouds as our clouds are starting to leave our area with a temperature of 69 and a breeze that will make our 69 feel just a little bit cooler, so I would wear a jacket if I were you going outside. There is nothing to be concerned about in terms of rain. There are a couple pop-up showers down by the coast, but nothing to be worried about if you are in Tallahassee right now. So it is a great night to go outside and hang out with your friends, or even go clubbing if you really wanted to. And currently 69 in Tallahassee, as I mentioned earlier, but it's a little chillier up in Thomasville at 64. But if we look down by the coast, it is pretty consistent with 68 in Apalachicola as well. So the entire Big Bend region is experiencing around the same type of spring-like nighttime temperatures, especially after our cold front has passed. And today we hit 55 in the morning, which was pretty cool after our cold front had passed, with an average of 51 usually being our low. We were not really far off from it, but at least it wasn't 32 degrees from our record low in 1955. And since our cold front has passed, of course, our dew points dropped 46 in Tallahassee. It was a lovely day to go outside and take a walk. We were not really swimming in humidity walking outside today, but there's not really much going on in terms of our future with our radar here. We had some clouds in the area, but they will end up leaving in the near future. So we will have a lovely, lovely couple of days to go outside and enjoy time with our friends, especially after spring break. It's a great time to go outside before our finals start. And tonight in Tallahassee, 50 degrees and mostly cloudy. As our clouds start to leave over the next couple of days, we will experience some clouds tonight, but that will not stop anyone from going outside, even taking a picnic outside at night, or going outside for a restaurant and enjoying dinner with friends. And if you decide to travel to any other area in the Big Bend region, the temperatures and the forecast will be pretty consistent. 51 in Monticello if you decide to drive over there, and even 49 in Thomasville with clear skies. Maybe a couple of clouds as our front is leaving the area. But tomorrow we will see 80 degrees and sunny. Pretty toasty in my opinion, so make sure you wear your sunscreen. But again, a great day to go to the beach, so I would highly recommend taking advantage of our FSU res and maybe go paddleboarding with your friends. And it will be the same like this for the entire Big Bend region. 81 in Perry, even down by the coast, 76. Doesn't feel too far off from 80 degrees, so our weather will be pretty sunny, and so maybe it is a great day to take a little road trip and go down to the beach if you want to go see Carabel with a temperature of 75 degrees. However, our beautiful sunny weather will be short-lived as we will experience some storms on Saturday. 70% chance we will see some flooding as well, and our temperatures will decrease and be pretty consistent towards the rest of the week. And now we're going to close things off with Nikki at the desk.
Thank you so much, Joy. Howdy, or should I say, so long, partner. It's the end of our show. It has been such a silly, goofy show today, and we have learned a lot about the weather, El Nino, La Nina, the severe weather happening in the Mississippi Valley. Just a lot going on. But here in Tallahassee, tomorrow we've been saying is going to be pretty warm outside. So make sure you take advantage of that, especially since our weekend might be getting a little bit ruined per se by the rain if depending on how much or little we get by the time that happens. So make sure that you're always taking advantage of that good weather when it is here, especially since it's not super hot like it is in the summer. And I know people like it hot, but when it gets too hot, it's not ideal. So make sure you go out, maybe go for a swim with your friends, go to the res, take advantage of what FSU has to offer. And the rest of the Tallahassee area, I know there's always a lot of good stuff going on around here. I love just finding events around our area and just having a good time with my friends. But follow us on Twitter at fsu.com/FSUweather, like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok. We have a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. And you're probably watching us live on YouTube right now. And unfortunately, this is our last week of WFSU. So make sure that you're switching over. But that's all for tonight. Have a great weekend, and now I'm going to leave you with the 7-day.
Thank you so much, Nikki. So we're just going to take one quick last look. Our temperatures over the next week will be pretty consistent except for Saturday with our storm. We will see that we could see some flooding, but as we head in through the next week, our temperatures should start to stay consistent. We will not be seeing much rain. Howdy, or see you later, partners, Nikki said, and have a good night.